Hello everybody, what's up? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Big ups to all of my subscribers. Again, I appreciate all the support from my guys, all of my ladies. Again, I thank y'all so much for still being dedicated and loyal to my channel. Also, for those of you who haven't been notified, I am also doing content from a spiritual perspective. So every once in a while, I'll be uploading content called Spiritual Life Lessons, and you will know the moment you see the thumbnail is going to indicate that it's Spiritual Life Lessons, so you'll know which segment is which, because I understand some people are interested in certain things and other people are not as interested. So for those of you who would like advice, who would like content from a biblical, a spiritual standpoint, please make sure you hit the notification bell. That way when I upload any of my Spiritual Life Lessons segment, you will be notified and you will not miss out. Also, I will continue to do the content that I've been doing as well. So like I said, it's all about expanding and growing and venturing off into different things. So with no further ado, I thought it was very imperative that I did tonight's recipe, tonight's content. Basically, in a sense of making men understand that it is very imperative that they observe a woman's character and not her color. And there's many reasons because of that. As you are noticing, all of these picture perfect Hollywood red carpet couples, interracial couples, couples who are supposed to be high value, women of different cultures and races, exotica women, white women, Puerto Rican women, Mexican women, women of different cultures, including black women as well, that are married to successful men, men of high value. We are seeing how these marriages are unfolding and unraveling right before our eyes, and it has a lot to do with the fact that there's a lot of misinformation that is being put out here in the black YouTube sector, and there's just too many emphasis being placed on what type of women to stay away from versus what type of women to choose. Now, I will say this, that black women have not been giving themselves, we have not been portraying a positive enough image to the point to where men can really see our value, where black men can really see our worth, because what's starting to happen is the thought culture is taking over, and what is starting to happen is there are more thoughttianas, or thought-minded, low-level females. They're getting more attention compared to the women that are classy, who have dignity and respect for themselves. We are being overshadowed and we are being outnumbered, you know, and it's like the thoughts are multiplying like gremlins. You know, they're multiplying, they're taking over. And the truth of the matter is, as much as these brothers in the black YouTube sector are preaching to other brothers to stay away from thoughts, to stay away from low-level females, to stay away from the hair-hatted females and low common denominator females, men are still dealing with these type of females. And these are the main ones that are going in the chat room, that are co-signing and agreeing with men who preach against, with the black male content creators that are preaching against black female fuckery. There are dudes that are still messing with these women, you know, and they're still dealing with them. Okay, we see that there's people who have pretended that they died and crossed over, and now, you know, they got an OnlyFans account. And again, a lot of these thoughts, a lot of these low-level females, they're resorting to thought behavior because somebody is answering to it. These women would not be posting Instagram thought pictures. They would not be having OnlyFans accounts if thirsty, low-level dudes who pretend to be high-value dudes, who co-sign on men who preach high-value content, these dudes behind closed doors are going against the principles that they act like they support. Because if more men were listening to what they were being taught, if they was respecting the knowledge that men and the anti-BFF was preaching to them, these females would not have such an advantage in still being able to thought and profit off the weaknesses of men, or benefit off the weaknesses of men. We have females that have been able to infiltrate man's spaces only because they look good. Only because they know how to stroke a man's ego and cape and be pretend pick-me's, so these men could fall into their entrapment. So these guys are not taking the advice that the brothers and the manosphere, that the black male content creators are giving them. They are not really taking that advice. They're listening, and they got so much to say in the comments and in the chat room and on the platforms and on the panels about how to stay away from black women and this and that, but they're still dealing with these females behind closed doors. Even if they're not committing to them, even if they're not marrying them, they're still sleeping with these women. They're still dropping in their DMs. You know, it's a lot of perpetrating going on within the black community, as far as the black community of the YouTube sector. Okay, so I thought it was imperative that I discuss this because there's so much preaching and teaching in the black YouTube sector about women that are fake, women that are artificial, and I get it. I'm not knocking any of the brothers that are preaching against this, you know, because the truth is, a lot of us as black women, we are not really happy with our physical attributes, and a lot of that may have to do with the fact of what we endured in our childhood, or the fact that we are in a competitive world where not only we have to compete with each other, we have to compete with women of other races, because brothers are choosing to date outside of their races too, and that's their choice. Nothing is wrong with that. So now black women are feeling like they have to wear artificial attributes to gain the attentions and try to outshine other women. They have to get the artificial hair, the artificial nails, wear the makeup, and let's not forget plastic surgery. I don't hear a lot of men speaking on that. They want to focus on the weave, the makeup, and you know, fake nails and stuff, but a lot of them are not talking about plastic surgery. A lot of women are getting plastic surgery more than ever before. They're getting liposuctions, Brazilian butt lifts, all type of things. Okay, so it's more than one way to be artificial, and the biggest thing is there's a lot of women that are artificial in character. And let me tell you something, that is worse than weave, worse than fake nails, worse than fake butts, butt implants, fake breast implants, because at least you can see those things. You get what I'm saying? At least you can see those artificial attributes. You can see when a woman has a weave. You can see if she has a botched boob job or a botched butt job. You can see the artificial attributes. But what's worse is when you can't see artificial character. And that is what a lot of the men are not speaking upon. They want to keep beating and drilling about the artificial attributes. But what's more deadly is artificial character. Meaning that even if a woman has real hair, real nails, real this, real that, nothing is worse than to find out you have invested in a woman that was not real as the character she portrayed herself to be. That is even more dangerous. And this is the reason why you have a lot of brothers who are going through all type of turbulent and chaotic marriages and relationships. If you look at Dr. Dre, yeah, we can see she doesn't have the weave, she doesn't have the false nails. We can see she's you know, I don't know if she's white, Puerto Rican, I don't know her ethnicity, but we can see she's a non-colored woman, which is what a lot of the guys in the sector love to praise and brag about. But at the end of the day, Her real character stood out when this man, Dr. Dre, had got a brain aneurysm. She didn't even love the man enough. You would think 24 years, there would be some type of love in there that would say, you know what? Yeah, I want to take this dude for everything he got, but right now he's down at his lowest point. Because let's face it, all women, regardless of their color, regardless of their ethnicity, you men don't need to be going around here giving a certain group of women too much credit. You don't need to be idolizing women because they're white, idolizing women because they're from a foreign country, idolizing women because they're light-skinned and biracial. There's too much idolization, because you have to realize some of these women is not even so much the physical part. It's a lot of these women, to a very huge degree, a lot of them have ratchet, gold-digging, undercover tendencies, even under their biracial skin color, even under their Puerto Rican, Latina. There's always some type of undercover hidden agenda. And see, it's unfortunate that when you become so comfortable, you become so focused on what type of women to avoid, and you place a group of women in the box, what tends to happen is you let your guard down with the other types of women who you did not put in the box. For instance, if you have an issue with black women, you feel like black women only date dusties, black women are thoughts, and I can respect how you feel about black women. I'm not doing this content to make black women look good, to get black men to change their mind about black women. No, I'm just sharing my different perspectives. So I respect whoever a black man chooses to date, as long as that's what makes you happy. Then, with all respect, do you. But what tends to happen when you focus so much on one group of women? For instance, as I stated, you made up in your mind you don't want nothing to do with black women, and that is fine. So what happens is you let your guard down for Latino women, exotic women, Puerto Rican women, Hispanic women. You let your guard down for other women of other races who could be just as grimy and have undercover hidden agenda tendencies, just like the no good black women who you so dearly try to avoid. Okay? And with all due respect, Dr. Dre has found that out the hard way. Scottie Pippen has found that out the hard way. It's a lot of men who thought they were playing it safe by dating outside of their culture, outside of their race. And let's not get it twisted, sisters too. Sisters too. Sisters thought that swirling, because they have given up on black men, given up on the black culture. So they have decided to just completely eliminate having anything to do with black men. So they swirl, date white men, date men out of other countries, and to only find out that your white husband has undercover racist tendencies. Tia Mowry, her husband is exposing his racism for blacks every time he comes on Twitter or social media and says something. And the fact that she can be comfortable with him saying these things, knowing her mother is black and she's a black woman, is bananas to me. But because, again, her father's white and she's used to her mother, her black mother, catering to her white father, maybe that part of her has made her more accepting of his racist behavior. Okay? So it goes both ways. When you try to make yourself avoid dealing with a specific group of people for whatever reason, because you feel like they're not right for you, or you know, it's just better for you to date non-colored individuals, you find out the hard way when you pick somebody outside of the race you have given up on, only to discover that they are just as grimy, they are just as low down, and just as scandalous as the race that you try to avoid. And all of this has to do with the fact that you're not focusing on the character. You're focusing on the color. Had you taken the time to really get to know that person, then you would know, regardless of the color of their skin, that this is not the man that I need to build a future with, or this is not the woman that I need to wife up and marry, because yeah, even though she fits my qualities as far as being a non-colored woman, but her character just lets me know she's all for herself. She's not all for me. Now, getting back into this thing about these pretend pick-me's, because a lot of that is going on. You have a lot of women of all colors and all races that know how to play the part to make a man feel comfortable with choosing them, with selecting them. So they know how to be very catering. They know how to listen. They know how to allow the man to lead. They know how to be submissive. They know how to do all of these things to make a man feel comfortable. And the worst part about it is a man usually does not find out until he's at one of his worst points. And that's the same thing with women, black women also, who date outside of their race. They meet these men who seem to be more humbled than black men, who seem to be more easygoing, who seem to be more catering to her needs as a black woman. And when the grits hit the fan, now they see all the ugliness that the bottom Brad shelf can do. We call it, yeah, bottom shelf Brad. Now they find out all the ugliness. Ask Aisha Tyler, who used to be on I think The View. Yeah, I think she used to be on The View or The Talk, one of those shows. She found that out the hard way when she had to pay off the bottom shelf Brad. She had to give him spousal support. Thinking the other side is greener. And it's a lot of black men and black women. Y'all want to put down y'all own people and put other cultures and other races up on a pedestal. And then when you get on that side, you see it's not all of what you thought it was. Like I said, Dr. Dre was married to Nicole Young for 24 years. Okay, and we all know that Dr. Dre has had his share of not having the best of relationships with black women. His first son who died, he didn't have a good relationship with his mother, Miss Chalet, you know, and for whatever reason, when he got with Nicole Young, that marriage seemed to be, I guess in his eyes, better compared to the women he have dealt with. Now, you have some women that are like this. They know how to play the role for as long as they need to get you comfortable. And Nicole Young was probably one of those type of women, totally down by law, made Dre really believe that she really had his best interests at heart. Meaning that she was there every step of the way. Because you got some women, they know what it takes to get to the finish line with that trophy. They know what it takes. So if they got to play the part, kiss your ass, give you head every night, whatever it takes to make you feel like you are the king of the world. You have some women, they have enough patience to do that. You have some women, they will play the role for 5, 10, 15 years, however long, because they know they have a goal they are trying to reach. And in order for them to reach that goal, they have to put in that pretend pick-me role to reach that goal. Okay? So, evidently, for Dre to have been with her for 25 years, he felt like he was the king of that castle, the king of that marriage. Because evidently, I'm sure if she was challenging him or being disrespectful to him or, you know, or trying to over abuse her authority as a woman and not allow him to be the man or leader of the marriage, I'm sure Dre would have shut it down and ghosted her a long time ago. But no, what she did, like a lot of these women out here do, she played the role. She didn't debate. She didn't contest. She didn't challenge him too many times. That's the reason why that marriage prolonged as long as it did. Okay, she wasn't difficult. Because think about it. Every relationship Dr. Dre has been in, he has not been with those women. He hasn't been with Michelle A. or the other women prior because they were difficult. They were difficult human beings. And he wasn't about to deal with a woman that was going to be complicated and difficult. So he picked one that was docile and willing to go with the flow and allow him to lead and run the show and not challenge his authority. Now, is there anything wrong with that? No. But let me tell you something, men. These women who act like, and these women who make you believe that They are going to be dedicated to you, will allow you to lead and be the man of the castle, let you run the show. The moment when you are down or you get in a situation where you really can't defend yourself, that is when it's docile, submissive woman who has always allowed you to lead. That is when you will see her come at you from a whole nother angle that you never even expected. And you're blindsided because you really thought you had this in the bag. Like Scottie Pippen really thought he had Larsa Pippen in the bag. Cause he had all her babies from him. She was younger than him. So he felt like he was HNIC. He got this pretty Latino model on his arms, stroking his ego, making him look good. But when he least expected it, because see, he's older now, he probably don't have the same stamina to keep her in control like he did when they first was married. So she waited till he basically got exhausted, where he kind of lost some of his masculinity, because he's older, he's getting up in his age. Like I said, he probably don't have the same stamina to be as controlling as he first was. And she waited when he lost his masculine stamina, and that's when she started going full force out there, thoughting it up, before she got with this other guy that she's dealing with, that she done took, this other athlete that she took from up under his wife's nose. She was dealing with Future. She was dealing with the Dusties. So she been disrespecting him, and she waited till he got older and really couldn't do nothing with her. Not only that, he'd been with her so many years, he did not want to fight with her. He did not want to challenge her, because he knew she was going to walk with half. She was going to get everything. And you have some of these men, they will do that. They will get so comfortable because they've been with their white wives, their Latino wives, their biracial wives, even their black wives. Because let's face it, black women, we're not nice and kind either when it comes to taking a man for what he has at his most vulnerable moment. Oh, that's why I said you have to look at a woman's character, not her color. So, basically, you have these women, like I said, they'll play the role for a long time. And when you down on your luck, or you hit a vulnerable space in your life, or vulnerable stage, that's when they rise up on you, when you're most vulnerable. You know, and that's kind of what happened to Scottie Pippen. Same thing. He up in his age, like he didn't want to, he allowed her to kind of do what she wanted to do, and he took the disrespect because he been with her so long, she gonna get half. And that's what ends up happening. When you've been with a woman for so long, the one that's been so docile and submissive to you, and she starts turning on you, and you start seeing this ugliness in her character, you start seeing all of these things that you never thought she was, you stuck because you don't want her walking with half. Y'all did not do a prenup. Y'all did not do any type of legal, restrictions, so you're stuck. You don't want to challenge her, or you got to go through all kind of hell. You hire somebody undercoverly to go take pictures of this chick stepping out on you, and that way you can divorce her for adultery and all of that. But not only that, these men, they have fallen in love with these women by then. Because I'm sure Scottie Pippen and Dre, they could have really pulled some moves to make it hard for these women to take them for what they have. But what has happened is, because these women knew how to play the pretend pick-me roles, they made these men fall in love with them. They made these men invest all type of feelings and emotions into them, to where these men don't want to give up and lose their marriages, because it has everything to do with their pride, their ego, and especially their money. Okay, so when these things come into play, a man could put himself in a vulnerable position, and this is not to say, I don't care how submissive and docile a woman is, should have been some signs that you should have picked up on, that this woman, besides her pretend pick me pretend pick me persona. It should have been some things that you should have picked up on along the way, to where there had to be some red flags. Like, I got to watch myself. You know, this is my wife, I love her, but I'm seeing things. She's spending too much money. You know, she's just doing some shady stuff. You know, it's all kind of little signs there, and I'm gonna do content another time discussing those things or whatever. But these women did not just come out and be evil overnight. There had to be some things that Dr. Dre saw, that Scottie Pippen saw, Kanye West saw with Kim Kardashian. There's some things they seen somewhere, but they got comfortable. And they let their egos get the best of them, because they felt like, oh, she ain't going nowhere. She ain't leaving me. I made her. You know, God forbid. Who's to say? You know, I know Kobe Bryant has passed away and you know, had an unfortunate, tragic event that happened to him. But who's to say at some point in time, Vanessa probably wouldn't have got tired of him. After she had all of these babies, and after she done got all of these millions and off of them, right, she probably would have got to that point to where, okay, I done benefited all these years being with you. I done had all of these children from you. Now I'm ready to upgrade. I'm ready to move on to something else. Now, I'm just speculating. I have no facts on that. You know what I mean? She probably wouldn't have, but my thing is, we see this happens all the time with these Hollywood marriages. These women eventually get bored with their celebrity boy toy, and they want something else. Once they done got used to the lifestyle, once they done got used to the money, once they done got used to the perks of being a celebrity wife, they want to experiment with something else. That's why Larsa Pippen is out there with another black man 20 times younger than Scottie Pippen, and living her best life, and not a bit more embarrassed or ashamed. And this is why I say men need to stop looking at women's color and look at their character, because there are some artificial pretend pick-me's women out here who may not have any false physical attributes, but they false in making a man believe that she has his best interest, making a man believe that she has his back, making a man believe that she's a ride or die chick, and when the chips fall, she's turning on this man or trying to hurt him at his most vulnerable point. And like I said, and that's what's going on with Dr. Dre. But this is why I really wish men would not go around on YouTube preaching to other men and saying, hey, stay away from these group of women over here. All they are is baby mamas. All they are is thoughts. All they are is low value women. It's low value women on so many levels other than just black women. I know some low level. Now, we may be in the high rank. It is more of us than it is them. But what's starting to happen is, guys, a lot of these non-colored women, they are slowly but surely they're slowly but surely blending into that thought culture. Okay, like I said, look at Larsa Pippen. All the little Instagram pictures, I mean, she been taking. Women as beautiful as Evelyn Lozada, Latina woman. But as you can see, she can't keep no relationship. Every man she's ever been with, as beautiful as she is, she can't keep anybody. Because of her attitude, her arrogance, this sense of entitlement. Because I also do know this about some biracial women. Some biracial women are they feel highly privileged. So if you're not going to be one of those black men that's going to kiss their behind and do exactly what they want, what they want you to do, they'll flake out on you too. A female with hidden motives and hidden agendas, it don't matter her color. She will bring you down if you get overly confident and make yourself believe, well, she's not a black woman, so I know I'm not going to have to worry about that with her. She's an Asian woman. She's a Puerto Rican woman. She's a Latino woman. Depending on what type of world you bring her into, depending on how she's been raised, her upbringing, her morals, and her values. You could be picking up a non-colored woman that has the same grimy ass, selfish, low-level, undercover tendencies just like the black woman you complain about. A grimy, like I said before, a grimy ass woman is a grimy ass woman. And you can't underestimate any of these women out here. Any of them. Even these foreign women who y'all so dearly love to brag and talk about. These women, they want to hook up with American men because they want to get away from a culture where the men regulate everything. They want to come over here and become Americanized because they know women in the States, we have more of a say-so compared to what the countries where they come from, where women don't have much of a say-so at all. So you have to be very careful. You can't, you cannot get all high and mighty and think because you're dating a certain woman or you married to a certain woman that you played your cards right, and you can't get played, you can't get manipulated, you can't be lied to or deceived, because deception comes on so many different levels. As I was stating about Dr. Dre, this woman knows this man is in the hospital and a very vulnerable and tragic moment in his life. She's still pushing and demanding for him to increase her allotment. Now, this is another thing that I also want to talk about, is how, and I'm going to probably do content on this another time too. A lot of these celebrity wives, a lot of, like I said, a lot of people are giving Nicole Young a lot of negative backlash. And for good reason. Because of what she's doing, it is rather shady. Especially if you've been married for 24 years, you would think her love would be stronger than that, where she would be more concerned about his well-being than him increasing her spousal pay every month. But what you see is not always what you get. We are in a world that is nothing but an illusion. We're surrounded by nothing but illusions. Everything you see is not what you get. Everything you see is not what it is. And I say that to say that. I say that to pretty much say that everybody pretty much is looking at Dr. Dre and Nicole Young's marriage as he's this multi-millionaire or billionaire, whatever one. And basically she's never wanted for anything. She lived the good life. Dr. Dre put her on and gave her the best of everything, and I'm sure he did. She basically hit lotto, struck gold when she got with Dr. Dre. So this is why a lot of people feel some type of way with Nicole Young, with the situation that's going on right now. But what a lot of people don't know is, and like I said, I'm just speculating, it looks that way, and a lot of people would think that way, but you really don't know behind closed doors how it really was. And I say that because I know some men who are very well established financially, high value men who basically place a lot of restrictions on their wives, meaning that their wives don't just get to spend money and do how they want to do simply because they're married to a millionaire. A lot of these high value guys are very strict. They are very stern. And they will not allow a woman to pretty much have too many advantages in doing what she wants to do. even if she's included in his lifestyle, even if he's married to her, he still places restrictions as to what she can do. Basically, it could have been one of those marriages in which Nicole couldn't just go on the account and pull out money and buy what she wanted to buy unless Dr. Dre gave her the okay to do it. In other words, don't think because a woman is married to a high value man that she can do what she want to do how she wants to do it. First of all, Dr. Dre is very business minded. He looks like he does not play the radio with no woman. And he just appears to me to be one of those type of men. He's not going to let a woman get over and have her way in no shape or form. And nothing is wrong with that. And if that is the way he really is, guess what? Any woman that was going to be married to him, she was going to have to deal with that. She was going to have to accept that. So it could have been one of those things where she couldn't just go write a check because she's Dr. Dre's wife. Now, this is not to say he didn't take care of her. This is not to say he didn't spoil her. This is not to say that she didn't want anything. But he probably did it his way. Which is why she's so damn beastie right now, because she knows she's no longer up under him like that to where he can't tell her, he can't limit her, and she don't have to go through him and get permission. Now, it's like, now that I have freedom and I'm no longer up under you, I'm going to come at you hard for everything. Because it probably was one of those things where if she wanted a brand new Bentley, she couldn't just go on a lot and pick it out. He probably was one of those husbands, because most high value men, they don't let their wives pretty much run or do too much of anything unless they give them the okay. And like I said, nothing is wrong with that. That's the price that comes with the high value man. The high value man is not going to let a woman do what she want to do when she feel like doing it. He probably gave her the best of everything, but it was within his way. However he wanted to do it. So if she wanted a brand new house or whatever, he probably was one of them husbands. No, we not getting no brand new house. The house we got right now is fine. I'm not going out there and spending another billions or whatever. You gonna learn to love where we live at. She wanted a brand new Bentley. He probably picked it out for her. And he probably would give her one when he felt like it. Not because she was asking for one or because she wanted one. You have some high value men that are very strict. I know some men that are not even on his bracket, but they make a lot of money. They are very well established. Their wives cannot just take the credit card and swipe it how they want to swipe it. I know a high value man. I knew one because he's my uncle. My uncle's a high value man. He's been married to my aunt every bit of 30-something years. She does not know his bank account information. She does not know he got stocks and bonds. My uncle right now is in the hospital. And he's very sickly. He's not doing too well. He's getting better, but his liver is basically completely gone because he's been drinking. You know, he's been drinking a lot, and it has taken a toll on his kidney. But even before his health started declining, he's always been a hard-working man. He's been a post office worker for years, and he's a retired military, so he has plenty of bread. Now that he's down and he's in the hospital, my aunt don't know how to do nothing because my uncle always ran the show. She don't even know how to pay the bills online. That's how bad it is. So my other aunt had to come in and help him and help her pay the bills. And pay it online. Guess what? He's in the hospital, right? And like I said, because he's not doing well. Do you not know that he has his black card on him, and he won't even let her have access to his black card, even though his health is declining? He still don't trust her enough to let her have access to his card while he's in the hospital. That's just how much control. These high value men are very controlling. They gonna handle their business. But the thing about it, if you're going to be a woman with a high value man, you're going to have to realize that he's going to run the show. You're not going to call the shots. He's going to make sure you have now. He's going to make sure you don't suffer. He's going to make sure, you know, the bills are paid. The high value man is an excellent provider. But he's going to do it the way he wants to do it. He's not going to just let you get his cards and have access to his account. He may put you on a budget and say you can only spend a certain amount, or whenever you want to spend some money, you got to go through him. You can't just get a credit card or a debit card and swipe it. Or if he gives you a debit card or a credit card or a black card, he only allows a certain amount on there. And then, as you're spending it, he's probably getting a notification on his phone how much you spending and where you spending it at. So Nicole Young could have been one of those type of women that, yeah, Dr. Dre, this millionaire, billionaire husband or whatever, has all of these businesses and, you know, has all of these, you know, investments he has. But at the same time, he probably didn't play with her ass. She probably couldn't do nothing unless he gave her the say so. And that could be the reason why she's acting like this rebellious high school girl, because she knows now she's not up under his thumb. So now she feels like she can fight him for whatever she wants, because in the marriage she probably couldn't fight for what she wanted. My thing is, hell, he had enough control to make her sign a prenuptial agreement. And if he had that much control to make her do that, you think he wasn't controlling everything else? And that's why now, because he's down, he's not in the position to control her at this moment. So now she's going in full force. So, this is why I say, you know, and I'm gonna get ready to shut it down. You have to pay attention to a woman's character, not her color. You have to look at the little things. The fact that you have a woman who calls and checks on you to see about you. Not because she always wants you to pay for something, because she wants you to spend some money. She just calls to check on you to make sure you're okay. You know, she'll fix you a nice meal and drop off your plate to your job. Make you a nice lunch. Anything, little things to show you that she's really all for you. She's not only for what you can do for her. You know, so, and note to men, don't let all of these other guys, you know, these dating coaches and tell you what kind of woman you should be with or shouldn't be with. And the same thing with you women out here. Don't let these other sisters get in your head and tell you, you know, you need to swirl, you need to get with this kind of brother, you don't need to stay with bait, you need to stay away from black men. What works for them may not work for you. You listen to a sister that swirled and you go and swirl, you find out you're not about that life. Yeah, it sound good the way she described it, but once you partake in that because somebody convinced you, another black woman convinced you the grass is greener, you get over there, you realize, shit, this ain't nothing like I thought it was, or it's not for me. What's for you is for you. You cannot allow what other people say to dictate who you choose as a good man or a good woman. You get what I'm saying? Because honestly, I'm glad I did not have none of these dating coaches, and I'm glad YouTube did not exist when I first got married, because I would have never married my husband. The way y'all knock each other, the way black men knock black women, and the way black women knock black men, I feel sorry for this generation that is allowing YouTube to dictate who they date, and YouTube is telling you you're not a high value man if you get this kind of woman. You're not a high value woman if you picking this kind of man. You're allowing other people to influence who you should and who you shouldn't be with. And like I said, had YouTube been as popular during my time when I was dating, I wouldn't have never got with my husband, because all of the things that I was told from other black women about what type of black men to stay away from, I would have definitely wrote him off on my list. And then he ended up being the man that was for me. You know, but listening to other people, I would have missed out on that. And you know, honestly, there was not YouTube, but there was other women that was in a bitter place, or other women that did not have the best of luck in relationships with black men, who tried to make me feel like me getting married young was a bad decision. I got married at 21, 22. And I had a lot of older women that was convincing me that I was too young to get married, that I should be dating and meeting and dating all type of men and experimenting with all type of men before I lock myself in so young. I was told you don't need to get married till you 30, 40. You know, so had I listened to that advice, I would have missed out on having a marriage, you know. And I really feel like a lot of black men and black women, y'all are going to miss out on a really good soulmate because of these YouTube relationship experts who claim they know so much about what type of man or what type of woman you're supposed to be with, but they're by themselves. They're by themselves on their shows telling you who you should be with. I'm like, I feel like when it comes to telling a man and a woman who they should be with, that should be a couple doing that. I don't think a woman by herself should be doing the show telling women what type of men they should get, and she don't have her man there putting in his input, also sharing the other men how they can get a good black woman and vice versa. And I see these single men by themselves who never bring a woman around to balance giving advice to people who are really looking for love. So y'all have to be careful. Y'all have to really pay attention to these things. But anyway, learn to look at a person's character, not their color. Look at how that person carries themselves when you're down on your luck. Pay attention to how that person treats you when you're up, when you're down. Do they character change? Do they attitude change when things aren't going good? When things are going bad, when your relationship has some challenges, they're so easy to become argumentative. They're threatening to walk out and leave every time y'all have a problem, instead of being woman enough or man enough to talk about these issues like grown people are supposed to do in a relationship. Pay attention to stuff like that. Are they stepping out on you every time there's a problem? Are they letting their friends, are they letting their family get in their heads about how to deal with you and how to regulate your relationship? These are the things we need to be looking for. So, anywho, I'm going to get ready to shut it down. And again, please pay attention to people's character and not their skin color. So again, this is your girl, your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth and break you off a slice of knowledge. Y'all be blessed. Y'all take care. I'm signing off.